My father forced me to marry a stranger to pay a debt. My father threw the dress onto the bed as if it were a sentence. You're getting married on Saturday, he said without looking at me. There's no discussion. I felt the air leave my lungs. To whom? I asked, trembling. To Ernesto Villalobos' son. That surname froze my blood. Everyone knew Villalobos was a ruthless moneylender. His shadow alone made half the town tremble. Why me? I managed to whisper. My father's eyes pierced through me. Because I owe him money, and your hand is the only currency I have left. I wanted to scream, but all that escaped was a sob. I was the offering to pay for his lost bets, his drunken nights, his broken pride. Saturday came like an endless nightmare. They dressed me in white. Though every stitch of the gown reminded me I wasn't a bride, I was merchandise. When I entered the church, I saw my future husband, a tall man with a cold gaze who barely inclined his head at me. He didn't even smile. I'm Julian, he murmured as he took my hand with a mechanical gesture. I only nodded, my eyes brimming with tears. The banquet was a farce. Everyone whispered. Suspicious. My mother didn't attend. She refused to be an accomplice, and my father had silenced her with screams days before. I remained trapped among false toasts and Julian's hand, firm as a shackle. That first night in his house, Julian was blunt. I'm not interested in you. This is a deal between your father and mine. Play your part, and there won't be problems. I slept with a shattered heart, knowing I was a prisoner with a ring on my finger. The following days became a routine of silence. Julian left early and returned late, never saying where he had been. The servants watched me as if I were an intruder. One afternoon, while wandering the house, I overheard through a half-open door. She doesn't matter to me, father, Julian said into the phone. You know I only did this for the agreement. My body froze. I was just a pawn in a debt between two men who had stripped me of my will. Weeks passed. My father rarely came to see me, but whenever he did, he demanded, behave, don't ruin this. Our lives depend on it. One night, Julian came home reeking of whiskey and another woman's perfume. He threw his jacket on the sofa and looked at me with disdain. Don't get your hopes up. You'll never be my real wife. I stepped closer, rage boiling inside me. Then what am I, a slave? He laughed bitterly. You're the guarantee that your father won't die ruined. Nothing more. Each word sank me deeper, but the worst came 2 months later, when I discovered the whole truth. I was rummaging through a drawer for papers when I found a letter addressed to Julian. It was from a woman who wrote with passion, signing off, soon our child will be born. Don't let that woman steal what is ours. The ground vanished beneath my feet. It wasn't just a loveless marriage. It was a facade to hide Julian's real family. I was the shield to keep Villalobos' reputation intact. That night, I confronted him. Do you have another woman pregnant? Julian looked at me, surprised at first, then with contempt. Don't meddle in what you don't understand. I'm your wife, I shouted. He grabbed my arm tightly and whispered, you're nothing. And if you speak, your father will pay with blood. Fear pierced me, but so did a rage I had never felt before. I no longer cried, I burned. My father had sold me, Julian used me, and to everyone else I was invisible. The next day I went secretly to my mother's house. She wept when she saw me and held me tightly. Daughter, your father ruined us both, but don't let him destroy you. I hid with her for a few hours, but then my father arrived. He shouted at me in the middle of the living room. Go back to your husband. Don't you understand they'll kill us if you don't obey? That day, I understood my life meant nothing to him, only his debt. I returned to Julian with a hardened heart. He looked at me with his bitter smile. See, you have no way out. I locked myself in the room, clutching the letter from his mistress, and as I read it over and over, the only thought echoing in my mind was that one day, this debt would be paid, but not with my body, with his